lines about me. I'm having 10 plus years of experience, and mostly initial days I was working closely with Eclipse platforms and was dealing with one of the Progress products like Sonic and Dixie products built on Eclipse platforms. And a couple of years back, started development for building web-based applications. And that's a few lines about me. Coming to today's agenda, so this is the agenda for today's webinar session. I majorly classified it as 4 parts. In the first part, I will be talking about DataDirect Cloud introduction. So now onwards, I will be using the term D2C as a short form for DataDirect Cloud. And coupling with that introduction, I will showcase the D2C product and show you some scenarios and different ways to create data source connections and how to use the web product of D2C. On the third part, I will be showing how to enable OData access for your data sources and show you how you can retrieve data using OData APIs. And finally, we will conclude the session by seeing how you can easily configure connection to Google Analytics data source. Before we jump onto the actual product capabilities, let's spend a couple minutes talking about the challenges involved in dealing with data from your application perspective. So, like unlike in earlier days, data used to be present in RDBMS systems inside your network, and that's changing. So nowadays, data is scattered, and data is living in cloud, and data is living in your on-premise machines, and it's not only RDBMS machines that you deal with. There is a NoSQL database available. So the data landscape has changed vastly, and on the similar side of applications landscape is also changing very fast. So nowadays you are building applications which are hosted in cloud, and the cloud applications also may need access to the data present in your on-premise machines. And the on-premise applications also may need access to the cloud data. So we cannot really get away with our legacy application. We still need to maintain those on-premise applications, and still they may need access to the cloud data sources. So in both ways, on the data side as well as on the applications side, the changes are happening very fast. And the number of cloud data sources that we are seeing are really growing in number, and your application is supposed to cope up with those growing number of cloud data sources. So apart from these, there are some other challenges involved. Like when you want to connect to some machine, you generally require some firewall configuration or tweaks that needs to happen to allow a proper secure access to your machines from your application angle. So basically, dealing with all these things will really add delay in your application development. So these are the various challenges that I put together from the perspective of data as well as your application and from infrastructure perspective. And now we jump on to see what D2C can offer you and how you can get away with those problems much more easily. So from an application perspective, you will be required to connect to various data sources that are hosted in cloud as well as in on-premise machines. So in a traditional approach, you would be doing a one-to-one connectivity to your cloud or any on-premise data sources. And so if you think from that angle, that perspective, the one-to-one connectivity model is really a maintenance overhead for you. So once the location of any of your data changes, you need to tweak your applications to cope up with that change. And if you want to gain access to any additional data, you need to tweak your application to provide that access. So it all is very time consuming and adds maintenance overhead from your application perspective. Now we'll exactly see how D2C can solve this problem. So more or like you see the similar picture as I shown in the previous slide. The only noticeable change that you could see is that the common connector in between your data and your application. So this is what D2C offers you to get away with the connectivity problems that you have been facing from your application perspective. So we offer a single data connectivity as a service that enables you to talk to discrete number of data sources that are either hosted in cloud or living in on-premise machines in your own enterprise networks. So this is the core offering from the DataDirect Cloud. So let's talk a bit more about data connectivity as a service. So what it does and how it exactly solves the problem. So on the left hand side of your slide, you can see the client view of your application. So on the left hand side, all the applications that you build, or any of the BA tools or reporting tools that you have been using, or it could be any of your cloud applications that are running in a cloud platform. So from your application side, how you can get access to data is via our data connectivity service. That itself is hosted in a cloud, and that eliminates the need for you to do a single one-to-one connectivity with your discrete data sources. So basically on the top location of your slide, you can see the cloud data sources that we are offering. So in the space of CRM, we support data sources like Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics, and Oracle Service Cloud. And in the space of marketing, we support connectivity to HubSpot, Marketo, and Eloqua data sources. Just below that slide, you can see some of the on-premise data sources that you may have. It could be my MS SQL Server, it could be MySQL or Oracle or Postgres SQL. So what data connectivity service does is like it eliminates the differentiation between whether it's talking to a cloud or whether it is talking to an on-premise database. So apart from this, so all the connectivity comes as a standard for you. So from your application perspective, you can reach out to the data using the interfaces like ODBC, JDBC, or OData, which are industry standard protocols to talk to data. And a bit more about the on-premise data stores is like so once you have a cloud application running in any cloud platform, how do you reach out to a machine that having a database in your own enterprise network? So that generally requires some SSH tunneling or tweaks to your own corporate firewall settings. So DataDirect the DataDirect also eliminates that need for tweaking your firewall configuration by means of introducing a on-premise connector. So on-premise connector is just like any other driver that gets installed in your enterprise network that has access to any of your on-premise machines. So once you install, it gets a unique ID that's used when you configure on-premise connection from DataDirect Cloud Web. So I'll show you those in few minutes. So these are the few of the data sources that we support from DataDirect Cloud. So you can spot Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics, CRM, Oracle, MySQL, all major players in the DB landscape, IBM DB2, and some of the big data players like Apache, Hadoop, Hive. So these are the various data sources that we support access to from our D2C. So when let's see what DataDirect Cloud Web offers you. So once you log into DataDirect Cloud Web, you can it supports all self-service based usage. So once you want to try out the product, you don't need to contact any of the salespersons to get an account. It's all self-driven. You can hit this URL shown in this slide and register yourself, and you will get a evaluation account to try the product. And evaluation is for 30 days, and you have all access. You have access to all of the data sources that we support. So with one account for 30 days, you can experiment and enjoy the access of data connecting to various data sources that you may have. And it also allows you to purchase a product, and you can switch between plans, and you can purchase additional data sources that you may wish to add support to from your application perspective. So apart from the self-service aspect, some of the core features that are supported in DataDirect Cloud Web are like you have a unified UI forms to configure your data sources. So it means that what it means is like once you configure a Salesforce connection, and if you are trying to create a new Eloqua or HubSpot connection, the UI will show this similar kind of forms, so that you don't need to learn new things when you want to add support to, or when you want to create connections to different data sources. So you will feel like you are dealing with one single data sources, but behind the mindset, you will be dealing with discrete data sources like Salesforce, Eloqua, Marketo, Google Analytics. So the UI will actually really make it easy for you to work with various data sources that you want access to. And we have a inbuilt SQL editor support within the web. So you can, once you create your data source connections, you can quickly connect to those data sources and simply type your SQL queries, so that you can execute those SQL queries against the data sources that you chosen. So it's very beneficial and useful to quickly connect and execute some of your sample queries to make sure you're getting the right data back when you are firing the SQL queries. And we have a very easy way to configure Google Analytics connection that I will showcase in a few minutes. And we have a support to configure OData schema using a GUI tool. We have a specialized OData editor that will allow you to easily configure or enable access to OData service. And we have a small widget that will show you the current usage of the product. So we track SQL statements and data transfer metrics. So you have a place where you can see how many SQL statements you have executed so far, and how much of data transfer you consumed so far. And we have a single place to download required drivers which suits your application and the underlying platform. All that is driven from within the web application that we have, and you don't need to have engaged with any manual conversation with anyone to actually try out and use the product. So having seen the capabilities of DataDirect Cloud, we'll quickly jump onto the product, and we'll have a quick tour of D2C web product. So you can hit this URL progress.com products DataDirect Cloud, and you will be you will be seeing this screen. And if you don't have any account yet, you can click on this try now button, which will show you a registration page to set up your own personalized account for the product. And I will try to use this login as I have an account already, and you just need to enter your username and password and hit login. So we have something called Progress Pacific platform. So it constitutes of 3 products: role-based, DataDirect Cloud, and Easel. Once you register, it will give you access to all of these 3 products for 30 days of evaluation period. Since we are focusing on DataDirect Cloud, you use this DataDirect Cloud card and hit the connect data button, which will take you to the actual DataDirect Cloud dashboard. Yeah. So I have registered for an account 3 days back, and you can see 20 days, 27 days of trial days remaining for me. And this is the main dashboard of DataDirect Cloud product. On the top hand side, you can see a helping graphic that will quickly narrate you in how what you need to do with the product. So you basically you create a data source definition from the web product, and you download and install a driver based on your platform, and you quickly configure up your application through the by using the interfaces like ODBC, JDBC, or even OData. And on the bottom side, you are seeing the plan summary for your account. So I registered for an evaluation account, and it's showing the same details here. And the data stores that you are entitled to use is like all data stores. So for an evaluation account, we don't have any restriction. We give access to all the data stores that DataDirect Cloud product supports. And this is the usage widget that I was just mentioning a few minutes back. So we have 1 TB of we provide 1 TB of data transfer limit and 10 lakh statements of SQL statement execution. So let's move on to the data sources tab. So this is where you will see all the connections that you configured so far within your D2C account. And let's use this data stores button to see what all data stores that D2C supports. So as I mentioned earlier, we have support for Salesforce, Oracle, IBM DB2, Oracle Service Cloud, all major players in the data arena. And you can even see the Google Analytics as well as the Apache Hadoop. So, and the SQL testing, this is the inbuilt SQL editor that I was mentioning. This will allow you to quickly execute your queries against the connections that you opt. So my plan view will show you the current plan details of your account. Let's start creating a new connection for Salesforce Cloud Data Source. So I'm clicking on this Salesforce card, and it will bring you a form for configuration of Salesforce. So all that you need to do is like you need to give a name for your data source. You need to provide a account details that you hold for your Salesforce. I'm entering those credentials. So the forms are organized into tabs based on the configurations you want to make. You can choose the relevant tabs and enter your configuration details. Some of them are relevant for tweaking the performance of your data source, and some of them are advanced configuration that you generally tweak to gain a proper performance for your data access. So on entering all these details, you can do a test connect. So this is a quick way of testing your connection details. So once you enter proper valid credentials, it says data connected to data store successfully. So that's all you need to do. Basically, you enter your basic information, you provide your cloud data source account details here, and you can simply do a test connect for that. And if you want to save it, you can save and go back to the data sources list page. So now that we have created a Salesforce data source connection, we can quickly try out executing any sample SQL queries data source that we created just now. So this SQL editor will show you the list of data sources that you created already. You pick the one you want to use, and this drop down will show you the schema present for that underlying data source. It will show you the tables, views, and procedures. You can use drag and drop to have the table auto populate in the SQL query area. So we are just for the demo sake, we are just doing a select star from Salesforce account. You can do execute query. Now what is actually happening is, like, we started with creating a proper connection for your Salesforce. That's a cloud data source, and we quickly typed in our SQL query here in this using that SQL editor, and we quickly executed this query against the Salesforce cloud data source. So within this couple of steps, you actually see a real data access from your cloud data source. So it returned as a sample result, we returned some 200 rows, and you have the paging controls to jump onto the next page and inspect your data. So this is very useful, quick way of unit testing your own connection and unit testing your own SQL queries. Now let's hop to this downloads page, and I'll show you the different drivers that are available from DataDirect. So here you can see, like I mentioned, you have a ODBC way of accessing data and JDBC way of accessing, and there is an on-premise connector. So this page gives you a single place access to download the required drivers for your application and the platform needs. So we support Windows x86, Windows x64-bit, and all other Unix and Linux based flavors of platforms. And we have a JDBC driver that's Windows Unix, and on-premise connector we are currently supporting only on Windows platform. So once you assume that you need a ODBC ODBC way of accessing your data, then based on your platform you try to download this driver. And for this demo sake, I already downloaded the ODBC driver and installed in my machine. So what I am going to show you is, like, how do we use this ODBC way of retrieving data from the cloud data source that we just created. So after installing your downloading and installing your ODBC driver, you can, from your Windows machine, you can go to ODBC administrator. It will readily show you the DataDirect Cloud 2.0 driver present in this dialog. So for demo sake, I pre-created couple of ODBC DSNs. So let's quickly inspect that. So what I have done is, like, I created a new ODBC DSN by giving my own name. We just said ODBC demo SF1, and this database name is what is critical. So here what you enter is basically equivalent to what you have configured already from your database DD Cloud account. So here you are seeing demo SF1 data source that becomes a database name when you configure a DSN. And this can be any of the name that you like to give for this DSN. So after this, you can even do a test connect here, and you need to provide the credentials that you use to log into our D2C web app. So we did that test connect and everything is working fine. And now to demonstrate the ODBC access, I'm just taking the help of Microsoft Excel. So any of the general business tools that you deal with will provide a way to interact with the data using the ODBC interface. Now for the demo purpose, I'm just using Microsoft Excel, and from the data tab, you can choose the ODBC wizard and this is the same ODBC name that we that I just pre-created and showed you in the ODBC administrator UI. So now use this. Let's pick me the smaller data connection. So let's use this ODBC DSN that we created and provide your account credentials here. This is the same account credentials that you use to log into your web UI. So we are just providing our credentials, and we just picked the DSN that we wanted to get connected with, and the Excel is showing the list of tables available for that data source, and you can pick and choose which tables you want to import, and even you can choose which columns you want to choose. So let's pick the whole user table, and these are all Excel UI that's just helping us to bring the data from any source to Excel sheet. So now what is happening is, like, we configured a user DSN and from our web UI, and we are using that actual data source to retrieve the data using D2C connectivity service. So now we contacted our data connectivity service, contacted the actual cloud data source, and it brought the data back, and Excel is showing the data after retrieving that cloud data source. So here you can see the sample data coming up. So this is how you can quickly use the ODBC interface to fetch your or bring your data to any of your existing applications or any of your BI tools or reporting tools that you may already be using. So this demonstrate the ODBC way of talking to data connectivity service. Now I move on to show you how you can do the same thing using a JDBC interface. So similar to what I have shown in the downloads page. So to get access to ODBC, you download a proper driver that supports your platform, and after that your application is enabled to access any of the data sources using this ODBC driver. And similarly, we have a JDBC driver download. I already installed and configured one JDBC driver in my machine. So once you install, you will get to see this installation folder, says cloud for JDBC, and there is a test tool that we ship to help you in quickly testing the connections and quickly executing the SQL queries. So I'm just launching this test tool. So now what you do is you just say connect to DB, and similar to ODBC database name that you entered, you need to enter the same data source that you created from your web. I'm giving a name, and you need to provide the same account credentials. We're trying to connect. Connection has been established, and let us try to execute on sample SQL query. So we executed that SQL query that we just typed the select star from this user table, and it brought the data back, and it's showing in the test tool now. So this quickly demonstrates how you can use the JDBC driver, and you can without any hassles you can directly contact any of the data sources. I'll just try exiting these. Now that we have seen ODBC way of accessing your data and JDBC way of accessing the data, let's jump on to see how you can enable a similar access using our OData interface, OData API. So in order to, so just like in order to create or enable OData, you need to configure OData schema map. So I'm just double clicking on this test SF1, and so you see for every data source that we support OData, you see this OData tab, and you need to mention which tables you need to expose to the OData APIs. So you can use this configure schema button. So this is the OData editor that I was mentioning during my presentation, and it will let you choose which schema you need to use. In this drop down, you can pick the schema. So there are basically 3 steps involved in this. You to configure or enable OData access for any of your data sources. So you need to pick a schema, and you need to pick the tables that you want to expose, and you save that configuration to the data source. So these are the simple 3 steps that's involved. So I picked this schema. As and when you pick the schema, you will be shown the list of tables that the that schema has. So in order to enable or enable access to any of the tables, a table needs to have a primary key. So you primary key, whether by default when you create tables, you may have created the primary keys for the table. Some of the tables may not have primary keys, so for those tables we allow picking any of the columns so that it acts as a primary key for the table. And here for demo purpose, I just pick one table account, and we can even do contact. So we picked 2 tables, and if you are interested what is this whole configuration is, you can click on the code view button that we have in the editor, and you can see the schema that we build, that this editor builds. So you have this schema. Now as part of this interaction, the editor automatically builds the required JSON structure, and all that you need to do is once you finish, you can simply say save and close, and this is what the editor fills the schema for you. Now you can just save this configuration for your data source. So I have done the same thing for this demo SF1. So if you go and see your edit configuration, the editor actually pre-selects the schema that you already picked, and it shows the tables that you already selected. So we are seeing the account table here, and we are seeing the contact table here being selected. Okay, so this editor is very useful and useful to quickly build your required OData schema, and that's all you need to do from the web UI perspective. So now let's take help of any of the HTTP client that you may have. So here, so what you are seeing, so this is a regular Postman client. Everybody understands that it's a useful tool to execute any of your RESTful APIs. So what we have done here is, like, we have a service.datadirectcloud.com and API/OData. This is the OData service URI that that we are hosting in cloud, and we are just, after this service URL, we are just specifying the name of your data source, and we are using the OData specification to retrieve the metadata for that particular data source. So I'm just sending a request for that. So now you have, it will show you the metadata for the data source. So now here seeing, let me scroll this. So you're seeing the account table entity name account, which is what we selected, and we are seeing the contact table, and it's listing some more details like the different columns that it has, all those details. So this what we have done is like we enabled OData for this demo SF1 data source, and we're trying to use D2C OData service URI to retrieve the data. So as you have seen, it doesn't require any drivers to be installed on your machine, since it runs on OData protocol, which is a REST-based protocol. It doesn't need any tweaks to happen from your application. And unlike ODBC, which requires a driver to be installed, or unlike JDBC, which requires a driver to be installed for your application. So this is the power of OData. So generally mobile applications which are lightweight, we cannot afford to install bulky drivers in mobiles. So this is pretty much useful for such kind of applications. Now I will show you some of the sample queries as well. So here what I have done is we are using the same demo SF1 data source that we created in the cloud web, and we are using the accounts table. We are specifying some primary key value here. If you want to translate this URI to an SQL equivalent, it is almost like select star from accounts where my primary key ID is this one. So this is the equivalent OData API for that SQL query that I just mentioned. So now once you hit it, we did a select star, and it is returning all the columns which are matching for this primary key ID, PAA0 and PAA0. So all the a row which matched with this row ID has been returned for this URL, and we are seeing the data here. Similar to this, we can pick and choose a column data. So here same thing, we are using demo SF1 accounts table with this primary key, and give me data for this column, sysname. So this, if we convert this OData URI to an SQL equivalent, it's like select sysname from accounts where your primary key ID is this, and once we hit this URI, we readily got the data back, and this column is having this content for the matching primary key row, this one. So alongside, we can follow the OData specification, and we can formulate fairly complex queries to drill down to the required data. So this one is showcasing, is retrieving data from contacts table, but uses these primary key foreign key relationships. Basically, you have the same demo SF1 accounts table, and this is the primary key, and we want to retrieve all the rows matching the foreign key value of this primary key. So basically all matching rows in the contacts table for that foreign key column. So now once we hit this, so for the account ID, so this is the foreign key. Now we are seeing account ID, and this was a primary key for the column row ID in accounts table, and this is a foreign key now for the account ID column in the contacts table. So you have so this is matching one row, second row, third row, and so fourth row. So it almost had 4 rows matching in the contacts table. So this demonstrates the OData API usage, and which actually uses the OData service hosted by DataDirect Cloud. Let me switch back to the presentation. So far we have seen how to configure a data source connection and how to retrieve data using the ODBC interface, JDBC interface, and OData interface. And so I quickly continued with my demo there, and These are some of the slides I put together for OData support. So OData is nothing but OData protocol. It's a standard, and it's used to query data over web, and it's REST based, and you don't need to have any specialized drivers. And we currently support OData protocol version 2.0, and we're working towards supporting for the latest version of OData. So OData 2.0 is what we support. So as I mentioned, it's very useful for lightweight applications like mobile apps, as you don't need to install any additional software for you. And once you use the OData editor and configure your OData schema, irrespective of whether it's a cloud data source or on-premise data source, the APIs work seamlessly, and that's what is totally abstracted from an end user perspective by the data connectivity service. And these on the screen you can see the OData service URI that we host. So this is a common OData URI for any of the data sources you create. So after this, the subsequent URLs that you need to give is like after this you can give your data source name and the query specification for your OData API. So that will just, once you hit that, you will be retrieving data back. And so Postman had a so it requires authentication also. So once you formulate your OData API and hit the URL, you need credentials to be given. And in the Postman, I actually already given my the web account credentials that I hold. So here you are seeing test account demo and the password. So it requires a basic auth, and once you provide your basic auth, you are ready and all set to hit the OData service URIs. And yeah, let's move on to see how we can configure your Google Analytics connection. So I'm seeing some of the questions posted in the chat, and I'll try to address that at the end of the session. Please post your questions. So Google Analytics, yeah, it's another data source that DataDirect Cloud supports. Unlike a Salesforce or any other data source, it requires a OAuth-based configuration. Basically, all Google APIs use OAuth 2.0 protocol for authentication and authorization. From a OAuth perspective, so this is what we need to engage with Google to get access to the Google APIs. So from your application perspective, on the right hand side you are seeing a interactive diagram. So on the left hand side is your application, and right hand side you have a Google server hosted. And in order to get a token, you request for a token, and Google will redirect you to provide your login credentials for your Google account. And once you provide the required credentials, you will be shown with the access permission list that you can give from your account to the application that is requesting the access. So once you provide your consent there, it will return an authorization code, and your application needs to send the authorization code back to Google in order to get a token back, and Google returns with a token, and you can use that token now onwards to interact or call any of the Google APIs. So from a user perspective, all that you need to do is like you set up your Google Analytics account, and you come back to D2C web and use the Google Analytics data source configuration wizards and provide your credentials there, and you are all set. So basically D2C will play a role of OAuth client to Google and obtain the required tokens. So it's all the complexity of these interactions are hidden from an end user perspective, and we also allow saving of these credentials as OAuth profiles. So you can create, log in and give consent once, and you can use the same token for any of your additional Google Analytics connections that you create from your D2C web. So all these interactions, I'm repeating, all these interactions you don't need to bother about, and D2C will take care of doing all these interactions and obtain the proper token so that you can start using the Google Analytics connection. Let's jump back to our D2C web application, and let's try to create a Google Analytics connection. So once we go to the data stores page, you see the Google Analytics card here. You just try to click the Google Analytics card, and as I mentioned, it's all uniform UI design. So you see the similar kind of form here, and you give a name like any other data source, and you try to create a new profile here. Say my profile. So now this authorize with Google is what will initiate a OAuth session for that underlying Google servers. So it will try to take your login credentials. So I created a sample account. Let me choose this Google account. I just providing credentials for my Google account. So Google showed the login page first, and we entered our corresponding Google account. And after a successful login, Google presented this page, and it's saying DataDirect Cloud would like to take access permission for viewing your Google Analytics data. So this is what Google is showing, and from a user perspective, I say, yeah, I accept. DataDirect Cloud can gain access to Google Analytics data, and you'll be no, we ran into some issue. Let's try once more. So once user accepts the permission, so we complete the OAuth flow, and he will be shown. So these are all relevant to your Google Analytics account that you have already created. You can select the view name, and you can select the segment name, which are terminology for Google Analytics, and you can try to quickly. So we completed the OAuth flow, and we have the required tokens, etc., retrieved from Google, and we are all set to access Google APIs now. Let us try to test this connection. So it's connected successfully, and let's save it. So now that we have successfully connected to Google, we can go to the SQL editor and try to see what schema it is showing. So similar to the other Salesforce thing that I showed, it's showing all the relevant tables that are present in Google Analytics schema of this Google Analytics connection. So we can, once you establish a data source, irrespective of whether it is Google or Salesforce, you just need to create a data source, and your application needs to work off from there. So without dealing with any of the specific queries or any syntax. So now what we have done so far is, like, we created a Google Analytics connection, and we try to execute one sample query that run against Google, and it's returning one row of data now. So this demonstrates the way you configure Google Analytics connection from DataDirect Cloud perspective. So like I said, it completely simplifies the whole process of establishing a connection to your Google Analytics. So we have seen this. So to summarize, and so we began with an introduction to DataDirect Cloud, and we did a quick tour of the web UI support we have, and we quickly created a configuration. We quickly demoed how to create a data source connection, and once you create a data source connection, I showcased how you can gain access to the data using ODBC interface or JDBC interface or OData interface, and I also showed the OData editor that aids you in building the OData schema map easily in an interactive way using the GUI tool within the web. And we already we have seen how easily we can connect to Google Analytics data source from DataDirect Cloud Web. And this is a URL you can try, progress.com products DataDirect Cloud. You will be provided with links to either register or log into the product. You can create an evaluation account and you can play with the product. So let me go through some of the questions that is coming along. What version of OData protocol? I mentioned OData 2.0 is what we are currently supporting and working towards upgrading that support. DataDirect provide any data caching capabilities. So like I mentioned, the UI forms in the DataDirect Cloud Web shows some of the tweaking options. So it has some of the tweaking options to enable caching or disable caching. Yeah, definitely you can tweak those things for better performance. Why should one use DataDirect over a native database client? Yeah, so basically, so DataDirect Cloud is very fast in accessing data, and it's known for its scalability and ease of use. And it completely abstracts out what data source you are talking to from a application perspective. So inside it's whether it's a Salesforce or it's a MySQL or it's Oracle, or it could be anything. It could be NoSQL or any big data based data sources. It completely abstracts out all those, and you have a single point of contact from your application perspective to DataDirect Cloud Connectivity Service, and it in turn takes the pain of routing to or converting to different syntax and giving you the right data back. And it's very fast and very flexible to use. And that going to, irrespective of data source, can we execute queries in SQL, or we have to write queries specific to data source? So as I showed, we already touched with Google Analytics and we touched the Salesforce, and the access from your application perspective is you can always use this SQL interface. You can use SQL syntax to execute queries irrespective of what data source you are talking to. And this one we already demonstrated with the help of Salesforce and Google Analytics. Yeah, I covered all the questions, I guess.
Can you see the?
Yeah, with this, I'll.
Sorry, I was just going to say,
Yeah,
if you see more, there are more questions in the Q&A panel. Can you see the Q&A panel?
no, I see your